Good morning, everyone. I'm very glad to have this opportunity to share a project with you we did last year about customer analytics. And you can see this long title, and if I want to highlight two words from this title, that will be insights and use. So throughout the presentation, we will focus on show you how we quickly turn the customer insight into actionable items and generate great ROI. So here is my agenda for today. So after a brief introduction of Manheim, and I'm talk about the technical approach we use to build this centralized customer analytic repository. And we share about 4 applications of using this data and insights. And lastly, we share some thoughts on some success factors we think are important to make this project work very well. Okay, so we start with who is Manheim. So how many of you have heard about Manheim? Yeah, so not that many as expected. So because Manheim is in the used vehicle wholesale auction space, so basically the auction only open to the dealerships, not to public. That's my, not many public are familiar with the company. And the company started 1945. So this is the first auction established in Manheim, Pennsylvania. And they sold 3 cars in their first auction. And by 1959, this auction already became the largest vehicle auction in the world. And we actually are leading provider in this vehicle remarketing services. We are the #1. We have about 40% share of this market, and our next competitor have about 20% share. So you can see this is the same auction as of today. So overall, today Manheim have about 20,000 employees. And we have globally, we have 107 locations. And in North America, we have 70 locations. And we sell cars through physical live auction, and we also digitally from our website. We facilitate about 8 million transactions annually. And in our website, we receive about 4.3 million visits in our website. Okay. So this page talks a little bit about our parent company and our sister company. So Manheim is a subsidiary of Cox Enterprise, so which is a leading provider of communication, media, and automotive service company. So on the automotive sectors, it's mainly Manheim and Auto Trader Group. So you might be more familiar with autotrader.com, so which is the internet's leading provider of new and vehicle listings. And besides this key product, they also have various products try to offer the dealership end-to-end solution. So for example, you might know the KBB, which is the leading consumer vehicle valuation source. And vAuto is a market lead of the dealer inventory management system, try to provide the dealer real-time the vehicle supply demand information in their local market, so that guide them like used vehicle inventory management. And Manheim, the same thing. Besides the co-buy and sell services, we also provide finance through next year, so the dealer can, after purchase the car, can finance with us. And also we provide transportation services through Ready Auto Transportation. So you can see from Manheim and our sister companies and all these various products, we have very rich like automotive data accumulated. So the question, how we best utilize this data. Okay, so now we talk about a little bit of what our group does in Manheim. So first, we are in the marketing, also particularly in the customer strategy and the insight groups. All my bosses are here, so I better not screw up. Okay. So first, since we are marketing, so we spend a lot of time to understand our customers' need and just basically drive from data, get some actionable insights. So on our customer, so on the purchasing side, our customer all are dealerships. So because only dealership can purchase through auctions. And on the selling side, half are dealerships. So they bring cars to exchange the inventory. And another half we call institutional sellers, which can be the vehicle OEMs and also their financial side, like Ford Motor Credit. So they bring us a lot of off-lease cars, company cars. And then we have banks. So banks also bring off-lease and the repo cars to us. And of course, another major source of cars are rental companies. They bring a lot of off-rental cars. And also, we support a lot of large fleet companies like GE kind of thing. So that's our customer. And we also maintain the industry leading wholesale price guide. Like KBB, they offer good retail price guide. Manheim maintain this called Manheim Market Report, MMR, which is the leading wholesale vehicle price guide. And MMR is heavily relied by buyer and seller to understand a deal and also used as a benchmark to try to measure how success this seller is doing with Manheim. And so MMR is offered on particular make model, so what's the particular vehicle price. And on aggregate level, we also published the Manheim Used Car Index, which is a one number so that you can know the wholesale vehicle price trend. And it's correlated very well with the microeconomy. So for example, you can see this dip represents the 2008 financial crisis. And this index actually is very well quoted by Wall Street analysts. And within Manheim, we're also responsible to assist various departments on any operation research problems. So this can be anything to help them define the sales territory, which they assign to a sales rep. So we use optimization techniques, try to make this assignment as fair as possible. And also we build a capacity model to help our auctions to best utilize their land capacities, also their body shop, and some type of analysis. And we also maintain the time series forecasting models to assist our financial side to better project our Manheim volume and also industry volume in the next few years. So this is what we do as a group. So, but today, apparently we focus on how we approach the need to better understand our customers. So approach we take, we try to build a centralized customer analytics repository. So we start from the data that's readily available to us, which is our transaction data. So you remember we facilitated 8 million transactions per year. So in each transaction, basically each record in this database, they collected a very rich information about what is a vehicle and what's it's a sale, and also who is the buyer, who is the seller. So total, it's about 300 variables in each record. So we start with this data, and we take a multiple market segment approach, and we use various data mining techniques. And at the end, for each dealership customers, we come up with a profile like this. So this is their seller profile. So we start with some basic market segment, like this independent dealership is a tier 1 and a weekly seller. So tier 1 it's a volume segment with Manheim. So let me jump to another page to see how we define their volume tiers. So what we use is we use a Lorenz curve-based this idea to assign tier to our dealers. So like economists use this to describe the number of households with the relationship to number of their total income. So we use the same idea. So in this axis, you can see that's a cumulative share of buyers from lowest to highest volume. And this axis is a cumulative share of volume. So like any company, you might, we all have these 20-80 rules. So you can see these bottom, like almost 63% of our buyers, they only contribute total 10% of our volume. So we assign this as a bottom tier, we call tier 5. And then gradually you increase another 13%, then you get another 10%. So aggregate by tier 4 and tier 5, they contribute to 20% of that volume. And in particular, you can see the highest volume tier, we call tier 1, it's only about 4% of our buyers, but contribute 40% of our volume. So we use this. So we basically fix this cumulated volume share percentage to define our tiers. This way, we can be quite flexible on this tier definition. So basically, like this year, we sold 4 million. Next year, if volume increase, we sold 6 million. We don't need to change the boundary on the tier. Instead, by fixing this percentage, it will automatically give us this tier customers. And also, we can always assure, like we call this tier 1 to tier 3 our core customers. By this definition, we can always assure these always cover 80% of our volume. So that's how we define this volume. So let's go back. And weekly is for their frequency. So to determine their frequency, we look at their time period. We look at how often, how many weeks they come, how many months they come, how many quarters and years. So then if this dealer comes about 80% of the weeks, so we call this weekly seller. So that's the volume tier and that's frequency. Then you come with the volume and what channel they use from Manheim to sell their cars, whether through inland or through digitally. And this one, we use a data-driven technique to try to identify whether he has some wholesale behavior. Because wholesaler not only have very different need than other regular dealerships, and also it's we treat wholesaler in a very different way. So because a wholesaler is a dealer who buy a lot from auction and distribute to the other dealerships. So in a sense, they are our partners and also they are our competitors. So we also have a lot of different technique to how to treat them. But from any customer data, nobody identify themselves as a wholesaler. So we use kind of this technique to see whether he has some wholesaler behavior. And this one is our churn risk indicator. So we have a green, orange, red flag. So in the later slide, I have a separate page to talk about that. So basically, green is on target, means he still transaction with us as his euro pattern. And then next is a brief profile of what vehicle he sell with us in terms of make model, in terms of price range, mileage range, and whether he has a fairly concentrated or diversified portfolio. In the next section, we look at how good they are selling at Manheim. So we measure that one by the successful sell-through rate. So this 55% means he brings 100 cars. On average, he sold about 55 cars with us. And this one is what's the price he usually achieved compared against the market price. So for this one, he constantly achieved 5% higher than the market price. So, and these two measures often negatively correlated, because when you have high expectation on your price, you usually sacrifice your sell-through rate. And this actually used by our salespeople. When we see that, they can educate the dealer, hey, how you can manage your expectation so that you can sell more cars from us. Because from Manheim, the bottom line, you need to sell your cars so that we can get the revenue. And another is we also measure their arbitration rate. So when the car sold, it's not necessary totally get through. So some arbitrated. So then the deal fell through. So we monitor what's the average arbitration rate of this seller. And we also look at what's the location, what's the market they sell cars from Manheim. And from loyalty perspective, we monitor how long he had been with Manheim, and during these many years has he been continued transaction with us. So we track their kind of from loyalty perspective. And also, Manheim, besides, as we said, besides co-buying and selling, we have a lot of adjacent products. Like we do inspection, and we publish very good condition report. And also, we help them, we can do body work, so we call reconditioning work. And also, apparently we can help detailing their cars. So we track a section, so their product utilization on these adjacent products. And this preliminary, but we start a section to also monitor their revenue with us and the profitability with us. And all these use Manheim data so far. But as you know, we also have our sister company, Auto Trader's data. So we can apply the same technique, so we get a picture of what's their retail, what might in their retail lot. Because Auto Trader is a subscription fee-based system. So majority of dealers, once they subscribe, they put all their used inventory on the Auto Trader. So we look at their Auto Trader listings and what's the car they put there. So give us a good picture on what their retail side behavior. And this is a seller profile. So if most dealers do buy and sell with us, we have almost identical buyer profile, similar to that. But there's some difference on the buyer and the side, behavior. Like the product, this kind of the seller product. On buyer side, we track whether after they purchase the car, whether they do the post inspection with us, whether they finance the car, whether they use our transportation service to deliver the car. So these products are different. Also, in the preference side, we also tracking as a buyer whether they tend to source more, they only purchase commercial cars, not dealer cars, or he also specifically purchase Ford cars, this kind of sourcing preference. We also track that. So you can see these are very comprehensive pack of analytics. Try to describe the customer from different dimensions. This is very helpful to understand an individual dealership. And but most importantly is each of these measures you can analyze from Manheim overall dealer body. By doing that, it will give us tremendous new insight on our overall customers. So in this slides, I give 3 examples. So this one, we look at the seller selling frequency and their corresponding volume contribution. So when we first show this to executives, it opened their eyes. So they never realized that our 63% of Manheim dealer volume come from very small percent, these weekly sellers. Before they think most sellers come weekly. It's actually very few sellers come weekly. But they have huge contribution on the volume. So this led to a lot of new consideration of the customer development program. So first, how we treat these very important segments, and also how what we can do to identify potential customers. We can convert them from quarterly to monthly, from monthly to weekly. So that's led to a lot of consideration on the dealer development. And this talks about the buyer location usage picture. So traditional, our location general managers or local market management team always think buyers are very loyal to a particular location or particular market. So we look at the stats about how many buyers use only exclusively one location and how many use multiple locations. And the picture is always show, quite a lot bit of buyers only use one locations. But the reason we get that stat is because we look at it from all Manheim buyer perspective. But for this one, it's paint a more realistic picture on this because we took off the last tier of our customer. Remember, our last tier is 63% of our customers, but only contribute 10% of our volume. So they purchase if 1 or 2 cars from Manheim, apparently they use 1 locations. So by redo this, and so you can see only less than a quarter our key customers purchase locations exclusively use 1 locations. This is primarily driven by our website, so people use the internet. Now it's truly expand their geography penetration so that they can buy online, so they can use multiple locations from us. So this emphasizes to the executives importance of Manheim to increase the operational consistency across Manheim locations. And this is it's a buyer loyalty picture. So then you can see 80% of Manheim volume comes from 6-7% loyal customers. So given this, so we can see Manheim benefit incredibly from a very loyal dealer body. So given this insight, this year marketing is actually develop a very comprehensive loyalty strategy, try to maintain this loyal dealer base and also try to grow them. Okay. And this one talks about we use our partner data to enhance the customer share of wallet analysis. So you can see this is buyer tiers and the number of dealers in each tier. And this column tells about what activity they do with Manheim. And this is their total auto trader used car listings. And by that, then we can calculate a ratio. So remember, the dealer can source their used vehicle from different channels. They can source from the wholesale auction, like us, and also our competitor auctions. And also, they can source from wholesaler or from trade from other dealer. Or they can allot from consumer trade-in. So this ratio kind of give you an indicator of the customer's share of wallet with Manheim. And you can clearly see the decreasing trend of this number. So which means we already have very good penetration on our higher tier customers. Basically, yes, they are big, but their growth opportunity might not that big. But instead, this lower tier buyers, you can see this share of pocket is still low. So it's emphasized we might have significant growth opportunity in the current lower tier dealers. Okay, and because that analysis, now marketing, when they doing some local promotion, so it's because they use this third-party data and use the auto trader data become a common practice. So this give example, like for example, if they have a local Volkswagen sale, so this buyer before is very likely going to be missed by that campaign because he purchased from Manheim only Audi and BMWs, so he probably will be missed by the Volkswagen sale. But because of now they look at their auto trader activities, and also we have some third party, we purchase data from Experian to AutoCount data. So we know, besides these two makes, he also advertised a lot Volkswagens in Auto Trader. So he will be included in this Volkswagen local promotion. So this is just example how the insight being used. Okay. So next section, we share about 4 main applications. We use this repository, how to turn that into action. So first, marketer use the data to form particular campaign. And how we do that? So we first, the repository need to be deployed to our CRM system, which is salesforce.com. So, and remember, we said every data elements in that profile can be used to filter, to form report, and quickly add to campaign. So now the marketer can use these self-service tools to quickly build and also because the data is very comprehensive, and you can use all combinations to build a campaign. For example, your campaign can be, I want the buyer, top market is Atlanta market, and the sales price need to be lower than 5,000 and never use the post-sale inspection, all these kinds of combinations. So as a result, their target group can be small. So if you compare the total email we sent last year versus 2012, you can see we send much fewer emails, but we reach a more balanced and relevant targets. So you can see 2012, apparently we spent 2 emails in inactive reps. And at the end, our the general open rate and click rate is increased in last year. So that's the first application. And also now because the marketer can build their campaign by these self-service tools, so we immediately free 2 analyst resources for prepare these campaigns. So before they need the analytical group to pull this list for them. So now the analyst can work on more deep analysis on the customers. So this is the first application. Second is how we use that churn risk indicator. So before this, Manheim found a very simple way to identify at-risk dealers. Basically, we look at their 6-day history. If we haven't seen them on 60 days, we flag at risk. And after 90 days, no activity, we flag them inactive. So by before, remember, we look at the buyer's frequency, right? So we know there are weekly, there are monthly, and the quarterly buyers. So the dealer come to us as different frequency. So from that, we immediately know that the one-size-fits-all solution won't work. So for example, a weekly buyer, if you haven't seen for 3 weeks, you probably need to flag to be alert. But if a monthly buyer, you nothing to worry about. So so we create this new way to identify at-risk buyers. So first we look at whether they still transact with us in this historical frequency pattern. So for example, this is their weekly volume charts. So apparently like this one, the frequency significantly dropped during recently, so it will be flagged. And also we use different cutoffs for different frequencies. For weekly buyer, we haven't seen 3 weeks, it will be orange. After 6 weeks, become red. And monthly, after 2 months, be orange. And 4 months, kind of red. So we use different threshold to try to identify different pattern. And next, we also look at even they still come as a usual frequency, but their volume, if significantly dropped, we also should be flagged at risky buyer or seller. So this new indicator allows Manheim to identify at-risk buyers and sellers in a very timely pattern. And so given that last year we launched a national win-back campaign to just target these orange and red buyer and sellers. And you can see we offer specific rebate for these win-back units. And also for the first time, because now we have profile, so we can put personalized message in these email campaigns. This message can relate it to their top location, top model they are interested. So that's the first time Manheim can put this personalized information on this campaign material. And as a result, the campaign is very successful. So we do the campaign for 9 weeks. So you can see this is a weekly tracking of these 2 are for the campaign buyers. And this is a smooth line. And also compare against this the Manheim overall, the rest of dealerships. So you can clearly see before the campaign, these buyers we identified at orange and red clearly at the decreasing volume trend. And during the campaign period, we about lifted their both purchasing and selling side activity by over 9%. And so at the end, we entered this dealer profile project along with this campaign to the Technology Association of Georgia award, so we win this Business BI and Analytic Innovation Award. So that's a great recognition. Next application we use this profile is we use that to build personalized vehicle recommendations. So in our lot, in any given time, there are about 500,000 cars sitting on our lots waiting for sale. And also, all these cars are posted on the website. So we already know we have a dealer profile, and also particularly we know what their vehicle they are most interested. And also we have other data collected on their preference, like we know they never purchase cars without condition report. We know is they never purchase dealer cars, they only interested in commercial cars. So we combine this profile and we create a matching algorithm. So we match this profile against the available inventories. So then we are able to reduce from these 500,000 inventories to a couple of thousand of cars that might be interested to this particular dealership. So a couple of thousand might still too big for recommend all. So next, we also build ranking algorithm so that among these couple thousand, we can recommend top 30, top 5, top 50, which were mostly they were likely to purchase. So on the initial testing period, we deliver this recommendation through email. And we also work on plans to integrate this new algorithm to our website. In our website today, we have some preliminary recommendation algorithm we use today. They basically only use their web search results based on. So these recommendations based on their search results. It's not integrated with their historical purchasing pattern. So that's we are. So in the initial test period, our new algorithm, the matching rate is already twice as accurate as the current technology used in our website. So we think by doing that, we can drive to increase our conversion rate. Because in the Manheim, our general common understanding is if we can improve conversion rate by 1%, it's equal to 2.2 million of Manheim profit. And also, actually, but the same technology also have a lot of variations can use. For example, this matching algorithm. Now we know a lot of major dealer groups like AutoNation, like Sonic. They have this dealer chain. So this group might have 100 dealerships and 50 dealerships. And then they use centralized buying centers to purchase vehicles. So then the customer engage us, okay, so it's quite time consuming for our purchasing center to search your website, because we need, each day we need 1,000 of cars from different models. So it's quite consuming to search from website. Can you guys develop us an automatically search solution for us so that deliver some format so can save a lot of our effort on the searching. So that's basically exactly what this matching algorithm does. So basically means we don't need, for this time, we don't need do the ranking algorithm. We give them what's exactly all this 1,000 that match their needs. And also in our website, we have our OVE.com is kind of like a eBay style auction. So for that auction, to promote that auction, we actually have an inside sales team to basically call dealers and alert them what vehicle you might be interested and try to put the deal together. So when we're doing that, we actually, when we deliver these email recommendations, we also deliver these recommended vehicles to our inside sales teams so that it can better guide them what they call to the customer to alert them. So that also can help increase the conversion rate. The last application we want to share is we use a dealer profile which build a foundation of our cluster-based customer segmentation approach. So for this approach, we segment our buyers by different groups based on their needs. For example, the high-end franchise online buyers could have very different needs than these low-end independent sellers. And also the wholesaler also have very different needs. And so the point we want to make here is, as you might have this experience in your own company. So if you want to do this segmentation from a blank sheet, you need a lot of time to collect these customer analytics, right? Your input variable, you have a significant time to collect these input variables. But because we already done this dealer profile project, so basically that becomes the very important, almost the exclusive input, data source to the segmentation project, which makes this project delivered in a very quick time. So that's kind of one application of this. So we think this needs-based segmentation will further drive our product innovation and pricing and marketing some decisions. Okay, so lastly, we want to share with you our thoughts on some success factors we think why make this project work well from development side and also from deployment side. And so first, we think as a centralized customer analytics repository, comprehensive and multifaceted are very important. So as a blind man see the elephant the first time, our customer analytics, the same thing scattered in our system in various places. So through this project, we kind of put the puzzle together and give a holistic view of dealer customers. So because of this comprehensiveness and multifaceted, it's quickly being adopted by various departments as a one-stop shop for customer analytics. For example, the sales, they use that to keep their field sales reps very well informed on their customer they assigned. And also, they use to setting goals and measure their performance. And the marketing, we already talked about, they start to build a campaign and do a post-campaign analysis. Product use that to select customers for any new product beta test and also product-oriented promotion. And we also have a customer-facing consulting arms. So this data makes them build the so-called seller performance review very quickly and also greatly enrich their buyer analysis package. And operational team use the data to build the scorecard to track the location and the local market, the buyer performance. And executives, we already say we offer tremendous insight on our customers to executives. And also, we do annually and quarterly report, try to keep them very informed on how Manheim does in terms of buyer and seller performance. And also, an interesting point I want to share, when you do this kind of project, initially when we release, it's not necessarily comprehensive as currently the final product. But when you have a base package, these user groups, they give you feedback, give you suggestions on, oh, I want to look at also certain matrix. Can you add that in? So in the end, we have our quarterly kind of update becomes a quarterly release. So each quarter we incorporate new variables, new matrix, like each department used to track their performance. And another the key factor of success is we do offer this product through various platforms, because the different user group is going to use different platforms to access the data. For example, with the package is developed using SaaS, so the data scientist, the senior analyst can access this through SaaS, and also they can integrate that to their next analytical product, so from the programming side. And our customer-facing consultants and analysts use kind of interface-based reporting tool like business object. So we need to make the data available as a cube form for them to access. And the non-analysts like sales reps and marketers, they not going to use reporting tools. They need to use the CRM tools to query the data. So we deployed quickly into our Salesforce.com. So this page is a screenshot of how the data looks like in the Salesforce.com. So, and it's multiple pages than this. This is just one page. So you can see this paragraph is overview of who this dealer does. And it's offer great help for sales rep and also customer care reps before they're going to visit a dealer or before they're going to make a call to dealer. So they are very well informed and who they are. And this is very beneficial because from all our customer survey, historic customer survey, customer feedback is, I really annoyed if you don't know me, anything about me, and just call me and try to sell product to me. And also all these factors are listed as a single element, so they can be used to put report, to query, and you can see they can easy to build a campaign using this data. And because of this project, we kind of changed the way how we serve our societies on customer analytics. So this is a model before. So when a business question related to customer was formed, it was passed to our marketing analytic group, which consists of a group of analysts. So the question will be assigned to analysts. So analyst works days and days mining through all these big data in Manheim data, industry data, and sister company data. And after days, they come up with some report or analysis. So this is the before. But now it's the model is all that effort was replaced by this central SaaS program. So we scheduled this program to run weekly. So it took about 2 hours to mining through all the data, then to update this centralized database. But at the end, not only analysts, also all the non-analysts can use that to access the data through some self-service way. And so the resources we freed, these analyst resources, now can do better deep diving on our customer behavior. For example, we look at the customer, the new customer, like a maturity path with us, how long we can grow a new customer from like bottom tier to higher tier, such like related questions. Okay, so this our roadmap of in our marketing of customer analytics. So we still use this older versions. Now from the keynote we learn now it's analytic 1.0, 2.0, 3.0. Okay, so for this project is built a solid foundation for us to move from descriptive to the predictive and the prescriptive analytics. As a matter of fact, as some part of the project, it was already touched some techniques in this domain. So my point of this is, despite today the hot word on all the big data, predictive thing, but depends your company's analytical maturity situation, the descriptive-based BI solution still can generate very high ROI and also generate very fast. And also for the next step, in this year, we still try to incorporate more like variables using small data, basically structured data. One we are working on to include these customers' campaign response like variables, so that when this customer has been touched by how many campaigns and what his general response rate, like in terms of open rate, click rate, so that when the marketer next time form a campaign, so they can also use this analytics. For example, if we see, actually we have about half of customers, if you look at their campaign response, they will never open any email. So if constantly you know this, so the marketer next time, so definitely need to change the promotion, the technique to this customer. So that's we are working on this year. And also, we try to embrace the web analytics, try to incorporate more web analytics data into this profile. And also, along with our success of this dealer profile, we also work on the vehicle profile. Because same as the customer analytics, Manheim also has a lot of good vehicle-related analytics, but also scattered on different systems and also different projects. So as you know, we have the valuation tool, so we know about their wholesale price, and we have KBB, we know their retail price, so we know this vehicle's profitability, and also we have studied to predict their residual values, and we know which car is hot, which car is slow, like a mover. So this year we work on vehicle profile, try to put that together. So we think it's also going to be very helpful for like internal decision support, and also might be also from the new product, the data product point of view, might be also a good data product. So that's in our next plan. Okay, so that's end my presentation. And if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer.
Thank you, Dr. Wayne.